Oh yes, crew call's supposed to be at 5 o'clock, am I right? Alright, cool. You know what? I'll be there at 4:30. Alright, I'll talk to you then. Bye. Oh hey, you guys just caught me on the way to my latest video project. Well, first off, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Alex Korecki, and I'm one of the main handheld camera guys for ESPN3 through Kent State University Teleproductions. And man, I gotta say, I cannot explain how much I love this position. First off, there's that thrill of being right up there in the action. And then that amazing feeling after capturing such a cool shot. I just can't get enough of it. But you know, I didn't get to this position overnight. It took me several years to get here. Looking back, I've had some great experiences and I've made some great connections along the way. So, join me as I take a look back at some of my earlier works, which led me to being a handheld sports camera guy.
You know, I never thought I'd see the day of me being back in high school. But you know, this is where my story starts. You know, during my sophomore year, I was originally going to take the second portion of computer-aided drawing because at the time, I had a slight interest in engineering. But the problem was that class was soon going to be canceled, so I had to pick a different elective. I ended up taking another course called television production. And I remember the first day I walked into that class, I instantly fell in love. We're here at the Aurora Greenman Football Stadium. Now, for the majority of my school and personal video projects, I've spent a great deal of my time here covering our varsity football team. I also had the opportunity to cover our varsity basketball team as well. And not only that, I even got to cover our pregame pep assemblies. So, let's take a look back at some of my earlier projects.
And man, does this bring me back to my early years in high school. I remember my class instructor always gave me permission to sign out professional grade video gear for the weekend. I mean, he had no problem with it since I was like the only student who was heavily interested in his class. I remember I would sit up in my room and try to figure out how to operate each piece of gear. More or less, I was able to gain a general understanding of all the controls. But the thing was, while shooting, I didn't really have a direct idea of what I really wanted to capture. I was more interested in the thrill of capturing video. I remember I would always get this adrenaline rush every time I'd fire up my camera and shoot. Though, looking back at all this, I'm kinda having a hard time here. Like, are you cringing as much as I am? I mean, look at this. I think I may need to step away from this. So maybe for you folks watching, this may be a good time to go grab a snack or something. I don't know how much of this you'd want to see, so yeah.
Ugh, wasn't that atrocious? I mean, one of those shots came out blue and the other one was completely out of focus. But like they always say, you gotta start somewhere. And it's crazy because a lot of my earlier projects helped me land a job here on the sports crew at Cable 9. I first started off by working with audio. I used to carry around a parabolic microphone on the sidelines of high school football games. But I soon worked my way up to running camera, not just for football, but for basketball as well. And I gotta say, I had a blast. Let's take a look back.
Working with sound for Cable 9 was fun, but when I made my way to handheld camera, man, was that awesome. I walked in with a very general idea of how to operate a handheld camera for live sports broadcasting. Remember, I took all my inspiration from watching both basketball and football on TV and even YouTube. I would specifically watch for the instant replays coming from the handheld camera operators. Then while actually shooting, I would try my best to replicate what I saw from the professionals. And for a rookie, my work was pretty good, as noted by the director. Though I came in with a pretty good idea of how to do my job, I still continue to learn more about what goes into running the handheld camera. Those were things like continuously shooting to sell shots to the director, keeping good framing, and falling exactly where the ball goes. As I worked from game to game, my shots still continued to improve. By my second year of working with Cable 9, I had a really good idea of how to run the handheld camera for both basketball and football, and it was all thanks to the incredible production staff I worked with.
You know, I could always go for a drink or two, and why not at a better place than here at Sassy's Bar and Grill? But you know, I used to work here. My job at Cable 9 landed me a position here capturing video every Friday night of live local bands. I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. I made some great connections along the way, and the best part was free live music. Cheers.
Looking back on this, my boss from Cable 9 was originally going to shoot live band coverage at Sassy's. Instead, he gave me the offer to take on that position. I gratefully accepted while still working for the Cable 9 sports crew. At first, I didn't really have any direction of how I was to take on this position, so I tried to replicate the different shots used in a televised concert. It worked for the most part, though it seemed a little boring, so I took inspiration from one of my favorite shows from VH1 Classic, Metal Mania, which was a music video block of classic hard rock and heavy metal music videos. I noticed that the majority of those music videos were shot guerrilla style, and I incorporated that to my work, and it made it more impactful. But what really sticks out are all the connections I made. Almost every night, I grabbed the attention of some of the bands, and several of them asked me to continue doing video coverage for them, and that to me was the most rewarding.
Yes, nothing like being here at the racetrack. You know, kart racing has always been a major part of my family. My dad used to race in the WKA, and he soon passed that interest down to my sister and I, though I'm no kart racer, but my sister sure is, and I had the incredible privilege to cover her previous 2 racing seasons. And you know, covering the intense action of kart racing is not the easiest thing in the world, but it sure is an incredible thrill.
And man, was it a thrill. My dad originally asked me to shoot video of my sister as she would practice at our racetrack. The intent was so she would have a record of what she did that day and could critique her overall performance. But then, my dad suggested I should capture her race as well and make something cool with all the video I'd be shooting, and that was how it all started. While at my sister's practice sessions, I cannot explain how much fun I had capturing video of her racing around our track, and coming from shooting basketball and football, that really helped prepare me for the intense action kart racing has to offer. And when the day of her race came, it was a thrill capturing the action. I took the majority of my influence from this old VHS tape my dad showed my sister and I when we were little kids called RC wheels, or helmets as we called it. It was a tape that covered the hobby of racing radio-controlled cars. I took note of how everything was shot and tried my best to incorporate it into my work. All in all, it was a blast covering the intense action of kart racing, and when I say it was a thrill, I really mean it.
Yes, here we are at my current place of work. Okay, it may not seem like much, but here at the Center for the Performing Arts is the Kent State University Teleproductions office. I started working here my junior year for Flash Vision, you know, the in-house video boards at both the Mack Center and Dick Stadium. Then during my senior year, I started doing handheld camera work for ESPN3. And man, I gotta say, these past 2 years have been absolutely incredible. Let's take a look back.
During the second semester of my sophomore year here at Kent State, I attended the training sessions for teleproductions. More or less, they were just a review. Nothing was really new for me, though it was fun because I made some really good friends. One day I was telling my one friend Brendan about my experience with Cable 9. Mark Wierzinski, the production manager, overheard me and asked me to come talk with him after that day's training session. He told me that he overheard me talking about my experience and wanted to hire me in the fall semester for Flash Vision. While working for Flash Vision, I did handheld camera work for football, basketball, gymnastics, and volleyball, which sadly I don't have any captured shots for. And I gotta say, shooting kart racing really helped in preparation for the covering of the intense action of colored sports. Right before I started my senior year, I was asked if I would like to be a part of the ESPN3 crew. To me, that was a no-brainer. I willingly said yes and requested to continue doing handheld camera work. So, I was on call for the coverage of volleyball and basketball. And all of my previous video work really helped prepare me for what to expect for running camera for ESPN3. But, you know, there really is only one reason why I really like my position here. It's the fact that I get to capture such cool shots. I can't tell you how many times I would check my video return to see if any of my shots were being used as replays or for packages. And whenever I would see one of my shots being used, I would be like, hey, I shot that. And you know, it's that thrill. And it's that thrill I cannot get enough of.
Well, it's been fun taking a look back at some of my earlier works. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, but you know, it's these earlier works that have led me to what I'm doing now, shooting handheld for ESPN3. But what's amazing is how far I've come over the past couple years. I mean, looking back at my work from high school, man, there's been some drastic improvements. It's been a bumpy ride, but for sure, I have enjoyed every minute of it. And I'd love to stay to continue to talk about this more, but I gotta go. I gotta be at crew call pretty soon, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Oh hey, you guys just caught me right. Oh hey, you guys just caught me on my way to my latest video project. What the hell am I supposed to say after that? There's that incredible thrill of getting that cool shot. And let me say, I got so far. Oh, excuse me. That's just so rude of me. Wait, were you rolling on that? Oh, jeez. I never thought I'd see the day of me back. All right, you know something? I'm more or less comfortable operating the camera instead of talking in front of it. Pretty much, I covered our varsity football team, and I just forgot what I was gonna say. We are here. Yes, that was you. You're making faces at me. But you know, you gotta start somewhere. I forgot what I was supposed to say, I'm sorry. And it's crazy because a lot of my earlier that was great. You know, I could always go for a nice drink, but you know, why not a better... I forgot what I was gonna say, hold on. I gotta look at my lines. They put pepper flakes around it. That's awesome. And boy, I gotta say, these past 2 years, I can't stop thinking about that. I hope so. Dude, I'm no actor.